Hello and welcome to Noninkables. We are on episode 11 of season 2 of the podcast. I was able to do a lot of Lorcana related stuff this past week, so we have a lot of things to talk about. On the channel, I released the remainder of the comprehensive rules, so part 7 as well as the glossary, so it's finally complete. Last week on the podcast, I said I'd released all 7 parts, and then I realized I didn't release part 7, so I kind of released it right at the same time as the podcast. And sorry for the delay this week, but yesterday I was basically sleeping all day since I worked like 40 hours over the weekend, which is too many hours for 2 days worth. Would not recommend. And also, it was my birthday yesterday, so this past week, okay, so that was released on the channel. Oh, I figured out finally how to make a foil mat. So you may have seen some of these on like X, Twitter, basically on Twitter, or at some of our local competitions, they were giving them out. But I figured out how to do it, so I made an Elsa one. And so this is like my first one, so it's a little messy, but it's basically, I put some foiling on the diamond part and then her like arm swirly things. And it was pretty kind of easy. I basically had a picture of the mat and then I traced out the parts that I wanted in Procreate and then put it into my Cricut and then cut it out on my Cricut, and then it's like a heat transfer. And so it's meant to be for like t-shirts and stuff, so you can roll it and it should still be fine. Like it shouldn't get any kind of like weird marks, although I've only used this once, so we'll see. And when I was using it, I used it at a seal that we played at, and it was a little bit weird because of the texture. I kept trying to like slide my cards along it and then it kept getting kind of stuck, so I think that's more of a me problem than the mat problem. So this is my first one. I'm not sure what the second one is going to be. I'll probably do one of our champion mats or one of the new mats. I think the new We Are Immortals mat is like perfect for foiling because it has those like the like bright lights that come out. And so I might try to do one with like multiple different colors of foil. And then I think I might do one of like the Mirabelle champion mat, not the champion one, but the Mirabelle champion mat, just because I think it needs more. So I may put in like a bunch of different little foil butterflies or something, kind of like spice it up. So that was very exciting. I figured out how to do it. It only took me like 3 hours to do it. And you can see like this part, it wasn't exact, and so then I tried to fill it in with an extra piece, and you can totally tell that there's like an extra, but if it's shiny and you're like this, then you can't really tell. And I think the hardest part is keeping the sizing so that it exactly matches. But yeah, that was very exciting. And then in terms of Lorcana we played in a house tournament. So it was one of our friends, Judy and Ed, their house, and they had like a sealed tournament on Friday night, and it was like basically they had like a case of cards left, and then I think they got another box from someone else, like offered their box for us to like use, and then we did a sealed, and then it was like pack per round win. We did three rounds of best of 3 cut to top 4 because we had 8 people total, and then top 4 played for like more pricing. Both Brian and I did not make it to top 8. I think both of our draws were like pretty bad, but in classic Brian fashion, in his sealed, he pulled an enchanted. So this is Restoring Atlantis. And I feel like all the enchanteds this set are pretty. Maybe it'll show up better if I take it out of the top letter. It'll be like less glare. Let's see. So Restoring Atlantis. So I feel like we won. I don't think anyone pulled a Tamatoa that day, at least not from the sealed, which is kind of what everyone was looking for. And then I was able to trade Judy a bunch of foils. So she was looking for foils for set 1 through 4, and I had like a bunch of them. And then I also had some extra enchanteds that she was looking for, and so I traded her those for an enchanted bell, which is in a deck somewhere, and then also an enchanted hero. So all in all, I was like, this is a great trip. I got my enchanted hero, I got enchanted bell, and I traded her for like, I think I gave her like a enchanted Captain Hook, and then she wanted the Aerial Sonic Warrior, and then it was just a bunch of like random other cards in set 1 through 4 that she didn't have foils for, which I had a bunch of them because I buy way too many cards. Ooh, I'm noticing for once my background, I was going to say my background wasn't blurred so you could see the wall for a second, but we put up our other 2 set champs mats, the Mirabelle and the Scar, and then I have like the set champ card in like a extended art case in like just taped into the mat basically. And I am still waiting for, I had to order an enchanted extended art card for the wall because I forgot to order them when I did my big order. And then they're also sending me Vanellope, which is delayed because they actually hadn't made the art for that card yet. And so once that is all up, I will show off my Kanto Forge collection of extended art things. I have sets 1 through 5, and then I was kind of on the fence about set 6, whether or not I wanted to get it or not. I probably will end up getting it, as well as set 7 when they release those. But yeah, I really like the card. I really like the frames because they make they're extended art. So like they take basically the card and then like the frame extends past it and it's just more art, which I think makes the cards look better. This is not a real Tomato. This is one of my proxies that I had made that I was using prior to getting real ones. But yeah, the price of this is crazy. It's keeping like the set 7 booster box kind of expensive. And I also feel like the pull rate is not great. At least in our area, a lot of people have opened like cases and gotten like 2 Tamatoas or like no Tamatoas or 1 Tamatoa. Brian and I have opened probably the equivalent of maybe like 2 cases plus like by playing in sealed, we've opened maybe like another half case and we've gotten 4 Tamatoas. So we have 1 play set, which is pretty good. I mean, we only need another play set, but those cards are hard to get. And in our local discords, everybody's like looking for Tamatoa and they're expensive. They're like probably the most expensive card right now that's not enchanted, and they're way more expensive than some of the like not as good enchanteds like the wall. So that was the house tournament, and then we also, it was fun talking to Judy because she's gonna help plan some more events in the future, and she was trying to figure out like what kind of pricing would bring people in. And I was like, I think we need more tournaments with bigger pricing because in our area, I would say for the most part, like there's a lot of stores, first of all. So there's a ton of places you can go and play League. Probably there's somewhere you could play League every single day of the week in our area, if not multiple places you could play League. Because like Monday is Games of Berkeley. Tuesday, I think King Kong does something. Wednesdays, I don't know who's Wednesdays, but I'm sure there's somebody who's Wednesdays. Thursdays is like Game of Martinez. Friday, DVY. Oh, Thursday also VPC. Saturday is NorCal. Sunday is like Fanimage. So there's a bunch, and also King Kong also does something. So there's like a ton of places to play League, and all the different stores I think have like different vibes in terms of how competitive it is versus like casual. And so I feel like for us, we don't go to one store regularly very much anymore. It's kind of just like whatever our schedules allow for, we'll go that week to that store. And then, so we were talking about like maybe doing some bigger competitions. So in terms of big competitions, we had the Battle of the Bay last year in like November. And then in January up in Sacramento, they did a pretty good Lorcana tournament. They called it Pretty Good by Gold Star. And then in April, they're going to do another one up there. I think it's just called like another Pretty Good Lorcana tournament. And I think recently, like this weekend, there's going to be something called like Lore Keeper Showdown, which is like 32 people max with kind of big prizing down in Santa Cruz. And then the weekend after that, there's going to be another like more set champs amount of people tournament. And then I know last weekend, Sacramento, they did a like Win a Tamatoa one that filled up super fast. Like by the time I figured out they were doing one, it already filled up. Not that I could have gone, but it filled up super fast. And it was like win an enchanted Tamatoa. And so I feel like there's a push in the community to have bigger tournaments. Last week, I also talked about this tournament that the whole crew had signed up for, and I had no idea when it started. It started on Thursday. So it is run by Margolis Gaming Lab, which is Josie. and she is up in Sacramento, I believe. And so it's like a hybrid tournament. So part of it, you could play like either in person or online. And it starts with 4 pools. So there's SF Peninsula is a pool, South Bay is a pool, and then there's 2 East Bay pools. So I'm in one of the East Bay pools. And then within each pool, I think there's 16 people. And then, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, there's 12 people. There's 12 people in each pool. And then we're playing like a couple rounds of Swiss within the pool. And then that cuts to like a bracket style top 16 bracket from there. So in our pool, I matched into Gary, of course. I feel like me and Gary are magnets for each other. I mean, I matched into him in Vegas out of like 2,000 people. So no surprise there. We haven't played yet. We're going to play our game tomorrow. And hopefully by tomorrow, I will have decided on a deck. Because as of right now, I still have no idea what I want to play. Earlier, like last week, I was playing a lot of red, blue, which I liked. And then, of course, I bricked one time. And then after that, I was like, I don't know if I want to play this deck. And I was playing the John Williams Red Blue. And then I think I tried out Sailor Sisu on Ice Red Blue. And then after that one time I bricked, I started just playing totally random things. So I played a Mushu deck because I love Mushu. And that was actually pretty fun. It's basically like a challenging deck. You have like Mushu, you have Calhouns, you have Robin Hood, Whole New World. I played I was testing this Amber Steel Princess deck that Frank Karsten had released. And he's like pretty famous in the TCG space. And he did an article with TCG Player back in the day. I say back in the day, like in the earlier days of Lorcana, that was like all about statistics. So he had an Amber Steel Princess deck that had like Queen Sensor Core and then just a bunch of princesses that sing songs. And I actually like that deck more than any other Amber Steel deck I've ever tried. I don't know if it's the princesses or what. And then I think Gary was helping one of our other locals with some deck building, and he was trying to build like a green-yellow deck. And then Gary sent me some deck he was trying that was like green-purple aggro, and then green-yellow. And then I tried out like the LCCC green-yellow deck, and I tried out a purple steel deck. I tried out a Jafar wheel deck. I tried out a Lady and Tramp deck. I tried out a Puppies deck. I basically don't know what I want to play. And then I'll play a deck and I'll be like, oh, I like this. And then the minute I lose, I'm like, I don't know if I want to play this anymore. So I have no idea what I'm going to play, but I need to decide by tomorrow because we need to, I think the deadline for us to do our game is by Thursday. So we need to do it. And Brian, he ended up matching into Ben, who was one of our locals who helped plan Battle of the Bay. And they drew. Brian was playing green steel, and then Ben was playing green blue ink geyser. And I feel like Ben always plays some crazy cool, interesting deck. He's always cooking up something. Like he's very much into like the deck building part, and is always thinking of new ideas or new combos and things like that. And then Tyler also already played his match with their melee name is Subtly Parkour. I actually don't know if I know the person's real name. And that is how I feel about a lot of these. I'm like, okay, this is their whatever name, but what is their real name? I'm going to guess it's maybe Parker. I'm looking at like the names of people. And they also drew. And then just looking at our little pod, Wally also played his game against Jay Cho, who I'm guessing is Justin Cho. And they also drew, so a whole lot of draws so far in our pod. I haven't really stalked the other pods, so I don't know if they also have drawn. Let's see. I'm going to stalk the other East Bay pod. That's the one that Ed's in. And they drew. And then the other one that has been played also drew. So also only draws in that pod. Interesting. Let's see, what about the SF Peninsula pod? That one, only one person's played their game, and it was a draw. Okay, so far only draws. Interesting. And then in the South Bay pod, no one's played their games, or at least haven't reported yet. So only draws so far. So hopefully either I draw with Gary or I can beat him. Otherwise, I will be the only person who has lost so far. So that is the goal. So this week, I think this week we're probably going to be playing a little bit more, like constructed and stuff. So we'll probably play in a constructed, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. And then I think this weekend, I want to say this weekend I am working more. Okay, not as much as last weekend, but I'm still working this weekend. So I'm not sure if we're going to play anywhere this weekend, but at least Brian and I will probably test. Ooh, also, it'll be the big box release this weekend, which means all of the cards that I have pre-ordered will be coming in soon. So I have, it's kind of embarrassing how many cards I have coming in. I have 4 cases of set 7 coming. They were, 2 of them I bought for like $400 a case. So I was like, oh, this is a really good deal. And then the other ones I bought when I was doing my crazy, like working 40 hours in 2 days, basically. And I was like, I'm working this much, I'm making the money, I'm going to buy some cards. And I had found a place that was selling boxes of set 7 for like 104 and set 6 for like 89. So then I bought a bunch of cards there. So 2 cases of set 7 and I think 1 or 2 of set 6. So hopefully we will get our 2 play sets of Tamatoas. That's the goal. And then of course more enchanteds. And then everything else will go into the store. So keep your eyes peeled for our store. And sales have really picked up in the store. So I would say like the past couple weeks, we've been getting maybe like 1 to 2 orders a week. And then in this past week, we've been getting like 3 to 4 orders a day. So people are really starting to like buy cards, I think, because as they figure out what they want to play. I wish that Ravensburger would announce more events like DLCs, maybe. Worlds might be asking too much, but at least DLC, so then I can start like planning for them. But yeah, that is it. I think this next week on the channel. So last week I did also record my first episode of Chinese Lorcana cards, education time. And so I will be editing that this week and posting it hopefully this week. And then there'll be more. So I did all the amber cards. So obviously we'll go through all the colors eventually. And I think that's it. I wanted to ask you guys what mat you think would be good for this foiling process. So this foil I have here is like a blue purple, but it does come in different colors and I just bought more. So I'm gonna have like silver and gold and pink and other colors. But what other color should I don't know. I feel like this is my new addiction. What other color should I make these foil mats in? Because it's so fun and relatively easy. Let me know. Maybe one day I'll open an Etsy store that sells these because it's pretty cool. Yeah, okay. I think that is it for me for this week. As always, keep shuffling. Hopefully you don't end up with a whole handful of Noninkables like me. Wish me luck in beating Gary and tomorrow. And also wish me luck in finding a deck to play. That's it. All right, bye.